Oh, all right. I'm back. It is, it's Wednesday. I missed the group run tonight, like I have for the last year and a half. But I did run on my own. I am Mike, what's up, man? What's up, Michael? You made it live from Nashville, Tennessee. This is the Ironman, Wisconsin countdown. I think it's day 39, 39 days left. That is about just over a month to get ready for this beast. And let me tell you, Ironman training is no joke. It's the ups and downs and we talk about consistency, but it's like, bringing yourself back. And today was a test of resilience for me. I came out of, when we got back from Ohio, I swam Monday night. I think I skipped yesterday's broadcast because I was absolutely crushed. I went out, I hadn't biked in maybe 5 or 6 days and went out to, catch up. You don't bike in a while or you don't run in a while. Some of you always want to catch up, and I don't want to say I overdid it, but I felt like I overdid it. And I think it was just because of all the travel and the walking around on Sunday and just the fatigue of the trip in general and whatever. But I went out and pushed it. Yeah, Mark. Yeah. Good to have you in here. You guys feel free to ask me any questions if you want. And because, here's what's happening is yesterday I went out, I rode. It was about 3 hours, and I probably pushed it a little bit too hard in the end. I did some hills and some things like that for about 2 hours, and then I hit the lab and just put the hammer down for like an hour to sort of cap it off with this, like, can I stay at a certain level for an hour? And I don't think it was like I pushed it too hard, but I was just fatigued. So I bagged last night's, and here I am. And I woke up today and I was literally just fried again. I didn't know what to do about it. And I went down to the pool and I did exactly what I did on Monday, which was 500s for a total of 300. I broke them up by about 30 seconds to a minute. And I warmed up for the first 500. And then I went after them as sort of a negative split descending. And I tried to get a little faster. And I'm just trying to build up that strength right now and the relaxation stuff within the pool. Because I got to tell you, it felt pretty good by the time I was done. And then I just went on this hydrating mission. I don't know. I felt like I was dehydrated big time after the weekend. I went and bought some of that coconut water, and I just pounded this whole big thing. And what else did I do? Drank. I don't know, but I went back to my game plan of orange juice mixed with water, and I split it up about a third orange juice and the rest water. For some reason, that works better for me than straight water, and it sits better with me. So, and I also think, I don't know, that limited amount of vitamin C is exactly what I need sometimes. But I can drink more of it, and I went crazy with it for a while. Then I actually took a little nap, and then I went out for a run tonight. And that run, I was really worried about that. What's up, Phil? How are you, buddy? I was worried about this run because of this weekend. The treadmill run that I had in Ohio on Saturday that I think I talked about. But it tweaked me out a little bit. And I know I talked about it in the podcast, or maybe I just talked about it with Robbie. It's all running together, man. I don't know. It's tough to keep up with all this stuff. So the point being is, like, I went to bed last night with these weird little pains in my hip flexors and all this other stuff. And I just was getting nervous about the run, but my run has been so good. And then I did that treadmill run, and it just like messed with my head. And I got out there tonight and I was anxious, but a little bit nervous because my running has felt so good. And am I back to the 10:17? Essentially, I do have to say that 10 has shrunk a little bit. but I am trying to go zone 2. I like to play around with in the zones, and so for me, it's like 9:30 ish these days, and I like to just kind of push it out a little bit, but not like sprinting. It's almost like a fartlek kind of strategy, or I call it a soccer run, where I just kind of give it a little bit more, and then I pull it back, and then I push, and then I pull, and then I'm just tweaking around and trying to find what I can do and where I'm comfortable. And Nathan, you're the man. Hey, no problem. I just hope that somebody gets something out of this. But I'm just sort of talking about what's going on in my world. And Mark says, forced 2 days off, 39 days off, getting nervous. Got hurt playing with the kids at the water park. Yeah, in Wisconsin Dells. Hopefully can do something. Yeah, see, it's always that goofy little thing that happens, right? It's like reaching for your socks or reaching for whatever, and your back gets thrown out. I hear you, man. Michael asks, as Mr. No Tech, what do you see on your watch while you run? Is it still total field? Really what I've been doing is it's mainly by feel, and it's mainly by breathing, but I do look at I don't look at specific numbers, but I look between 9:30 and 10 or 9 and 9:30. If I go through those little cycles, or if I want to push it past 8, I don't like look at specific numbers. I just look in 30-second ranges these days, and that is all kind of correlates back to what I'm feeling. And if I'm feeling the right thing and kind of in the right area, I'm like cool with it. I don't push it harder. I just try to. What I'll try to do is like try to make it feel easier. I've been experimenting with this concept of feeling lighter and trying to feel light. I know this is all like woo-woo stuff, but and it's like the other night when I was talking about swimming, how swimming doesn't have to be hard. It's like when you reach too far down in the water and you're pulling a lot of water, that makes swimming hard. So it's really hard, but it's hard to stay high and like push or pull through, where you're not pulling like a whole 8 gallons of water versus like 4 gallons, but like you're getting through there quicker. Yeah. So it's mainly by feel when I'm running. And here's the thing, right? I don't governor that. I try not to governor that. So like if I'm in looking at one of those 30-second zones and I feel like I'm running easy, I just let it go. So I don't target specific numbers as much as I let things flow in and out of zones. And that's kind of an interesting technique for me, because it like Robbie's talked about this on the podcast before, but he asked me one time if I had my mind, because I'd done 5 Ironman, other than the one at Louisville that was 105 degrees. I really bombed that run, but every other Ironman I've run has been 420 pace, or 420 total. And he asked me if I had my mind wrapped around that number. And I think that's a fair question, because sometimes we limit ourselves and we won't let go. And like sometimes when I'm running faster, it's easier, but you can never, it's hard to trust that. So that's where I'm really been kind of dabbling in, is how can I trust that idea that, man, it's okay to go a little bit faster, especially if it feels easier and you're not breathing super hard. And I really pay attention to my breath. Yeah. Running on grass, dirt always helps when I'm banged up. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I had a good grass area. I do run some trails around here once in a while. They're usually flatter trails, but it's just basically grass, and they're cut through the greenway, which is nice. I actually like that a lot. Now that you say that again, I should probably go back in there. Do I give myself a heat allowance? Man, I pretty much dive into the heat, and I don't think that's necessarily the best idea. But I just, for whatever reason, find myself running in the hottest times of the day, and it kind of, it can bite you if you're not careful. But when that does happen, I just look for some, shaded areas or whatever. But and a lot of times I've been running with my shirt off, which it's unbelievable the difference the shirt on versus a shirt off makes. It just, for me, it is unbelievably cool. And it's like night and day, man. So that just really reinforces how important it is to cool down, I think, when you come off the bike. Because, I don't know, I'll probably be wearing my sleeveless kit again. I know that's kind of old school these days, but I don't know how you guys do that with sleeves. It just feels too hot to me, especially if it's a hot day. I mean, Madison shouldn't be too bad, but it still gets like crazy hot out there in the run. Anyway, so I think a lot of this, I'm sort of like within one day kind of rejuvenated. And I think it has a lot to do with hydration, which is just crazy. Not crazy, but I think we just lose track of that when we're tired and fatigued. And I really poured a lot of that orange juice water mix in this afternoon, and it's almost like I'm a different person tonight than I was at about 1 o'clock after that swim. I was just dragging. I wasn't going to run, and then I was like, all right, well, let's just see what happens. And it turned out to be a good thing. And I felt great afterwards too, which was kind of silly because I guess I just went for about an hour, but that was on the plan, and I was so tempted to keep going, but I didn't. So I'm pulling back. But as I go towards Wisconsin, man, it's like, 39 days, and I just don't know how much more speed and truthfully endurance I can build. I feel like it's just, yeah, you can get some, you can build up a little bit more. And now it's all about kind of staying fresh, staying engaged, keeping the head straight, and then, just keeping what we have and adding on a little bit and building that fatigue up to get into taper and then nail and taper. It's going to be, it's a challenge for me. I keep trying to stay on the right side of this thing. That's why I was glad I didn't actually go for a longer run than I felt it. But I don't know. I guess that's sort of like that thing where I was just talking about. Sometimes the speed, you don't want to rein it in. You want to let it go, because sometimes there's like, if you're putting the reins on things, that sometimes can take a lot of energy. But it must be done. There's a technique that I use where I go slower, but I run the same. And I try to always work on the least amount of resistance to go slow, because it's like when I was talking about playing drums, they always tell you to start super, super slow and get command of that. That's really what I think about when I'm running slow. I don't like force myself to be tenser and like hold back. I just kind of release it, but I just don't move as fast, if that makes any sense. Sleep is massive in recovery. I agree. How much sleep do I get? Not enough. I struggle to get 7 hours. I'm a terrible sleeper. Okay, so the night before Ohio, I went to bed at midnight, fell asleep at 1, and I woke up at 4. And then we had that long day. So that had to have something to do with my fatigue. Because I went all day, and then I ended up going to dinner at 6, and then I drove to Louisville 3.5 hours. But anyways, but yeah, I actually bought some CBD oil. I was going to talk about this on the podcast. I bought some because I've been hearing about the sleep benefits of that, THC free. And I'm going to give that a shot tonight. So I will give back the report. Not that I expect it to like work miracles overnight, but I'm going to try it. The guy also told me that I got to watch my carb intake at night, because it starts wanting to turn it into, convert it into glucose or whatever. It's not a good idea, late night carbs. So, and frankly, I've been guilty of that. So anyway, I hope you guys are sleeping good. That's a huge part. If I get the sleep thing down for the next month, Look out, Phil. uh, yeah, that's like my number, man. I say that's always my priority, but it doesn't happen. I'm a podcast junkie at night. I lay in bed, and then I just, like last night, I was all over the map, in and out of podcasts, falling asleep, waking up. It was like 3 episodes later, and I gotta put that out of my life. I love podcasts. Of course, I have one, but I should probably not listen at midnight. Oh, see, Phil, you're eating carbs, but you don't have a problem sleeping, so you win. I'm a nightmare sleeper. I'm gonna start reading. My buddy used to tell me reading fiction is the answer on that too. Not nonfiction. You have to read fiction. You can't start thinking. I'll be reading like marketing books or whatever at night, and that's like the worst because then my head starts going, "Oh, this is a good idea. Do this for Crushing Iron." Again, I am Mike with Crushing Iron, the Crushing Iron podcast. Training for Wisconsin, my 7th full Ironman this year. Looking so forward to it with a bunch of people that we coach and a bunch of people in the close Crushing Iron group. It's going to be a blowout. It's going to be tough to stay focused, but I'll take my chances. Yeah, so I didn't eat carbs tonight, and it's 8 o'clock. I'm patiently trying to stay awake, or not lay down, I should say, too early. But I want to try and lay down early. My goal is I would love to be like a 10 o'clock to 6 a.m. guy, but man, I've tried my whole life, and it's just not happening. Where do I see myself in C26 in 5 years? I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, we've talked about it a little, but part of our thing has been to grow under control. And that's why we don't really advertise or market or do anything outside of what we're doing. And it's been working really well at the time. I mean, it kind of gives us a chance to stay on top of things. But at some point, we're going to have to take a look at that, because we just had our biggest podcast month in July ever, quite by a long shot. So there's good signs, but I just hope that we can keep the integrity of it and help a lot of people, and maybe have a major influence on a lot of people, what they're doing in triathlon, and not by influence, I don't mean that, but I just mean by, like, hopefully the sport can grow and bring more good people in it and have a lot more enjoyable factor, and just and not only that, but like have people change in their lives, because that's the thing, that's why I got in it in the first place. And while I wouldn't say my life is perfect, well, it's not even close, but there's just been a lot of benefits. It's a hard term, like it's sort of a metaphor for training for Ironman, is that it's not easy, and it doesn't like answer any questions necessarily, but it kind of keeps you on the right path, and hopefully you can find your sweet spot in there. So I don't know. I'd like to just get in. I don't really have a goal. I want to stay kind of young at heart and young at body, and just kind of keep doing these things and keep doing what we're doing, and figure out the best ways to do things and get a little bit better. But and keep meeting awesome people. That's been the best thing about this. I mean, going to Ohio last week was just like, such cool people. Our athletes are just that we actually coach, that have kind of come into the Crushing Iron active athlete area, which is, I can't even believe how cool people are. So it's like great. Keep getting closer, but anyway, I just I think that's it for now. Tomorrow I'm going to get back on the bike, and then I'm heading to Chattanooga to hang out with Robbie and some people on this weekend, and I'm going to do a lot of running. So tomorrow I'll probably go overdo the bike. Anyway, I appreciate you guys checking in here. It's been awesome. And feel free to contact me, crushingiron@gmail.com, if you want me to talk about anything specific. And oh, that's right, man. Yeah, Phil, you happy about that? The Astros got Greinke. I thought he was still in the Brewers, but obviously he's not. But I don't know. Baseball. I'm actually kind of starting to be okay with baseball again, but it's just like I'm such a old soul. I'm old school, man. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in this game. Kind of irritates me, which is why I'm still holding strong to the no gadget. I'm riding my old bike. My bike's 7 years old now. It's made of aluminum. It's an old Trek concept, speed concept. Yeah, robot umpires. It's just a matter of time. That could be the final nail in the coffin for me. I can't deal with it, man. I mean, like, think about it. We had, was it Brett Boone about a week and a half ago? He got in an argument with an umpire. I can't remember the last time I saw an argument with an umpire because there's just no reason to do it anymore. Not that you have to have it, but like that's all part of it. Like the manager intimidation thing, and like the strike zone is fluid. Don't get me going on this because the strike zone is supposed to be fluid. It's not supposed to be a perfect strike zone by robots. Part of the whole pitching dynamic is to be able to get the umpire kind of like brainwash the umpire a little bit by dragging him a little bit outside the strike zone, but with showing your consistency and your location is awesome. So anyway, yeah, Tom Glavine would die trying to nibble the corner with robot umpires. Yeah, exactly. Tom, he may not have thrown a strike because I think Glavine was like usually off the black, and same with Maddox, and Smoltz was a little bit more of a power pitcher, but these guys just lived on the outside of the zone, and they had guys breaking their bats and hitting it off the end of the bat and whatever. And that was their game. And now all of a sudden you're going to tell me I have to actually put the plate? I mean, of course that's part of the game, but it's a bad sign, man. Well, I don't these Doppler radar calling strikes. I mean, that's just so ridiculous to me. I'm a little bit. Frankly, I was a little bit upset all day yesterday because there was I was listening to this podcast about, robots and how real they're getting and stuff like that. It's freaking me out. I just don't know. I don't know what to think. All these shows about robots taking over the world. And the funny part is it's like, it's going to happen. Now you heard about these deep fakes and how that people are creating videos like, they would put like, I don't know, Jeff Bezos' face on mine. And if I was like in a room that looked like an official room, I could actually like talk. If I could talk like him, it would be like, it seemed like me. And that stuff's real. And they certainly already have the voice thing where you can act like it's, President Obama talking about something like, endorsing Trump or something stupid like that. So it'd be like, these things are real. And I don't know what's going to happen. That's why I'm holding on to my track concept 2. I don't even know what it is. It's aluminum. It's about 7 years old. And it will be racing Ironman Wisconsin. Okay, that's it for the night. I'm going to go take some CBD oil and go to bed. And then probably just lay there and stare at the ceiling. Analytics and spray charts. Yeah. Launch angles. Whatever. Just hit the ball. Can you hit the ball to the opposite field? Probably not. All right, Mark, you're welcome, buddy. We will talk to you guys tomorrow, hopefully, and I'll have a little report on my sleep and my return to the bike. Plus, we're doing the podcast On Thursday, it'll be 289. I don't know, something like that. Getting close to 300. Biggest month ever. July of this year right now, just ended. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.